Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are having an amazing day. Um, I just got home not too long ago. I was out helping my mom today. She was having some issues again with her the electronics in her truck. This truck is from 1991. It's almost as old as me. Um, so it's about 35 years old, and sometimes things go wrong. And she's had some electrical issues. She had them fixed once, and then something happened again. So she took it back in to have it looked at again. And um, I just picked her up I just took her to get the truck. And we had just dropped her off a few, what was it, a week ago? I don't even know. I don't know when it was. Um, but we dropped it off and she just got it back. And then we went and had a little bit of breakfast slash lunch. And then I dropped her off to pick up her other car, which is having some issues. So she's had some car and truck issues for the last few months, really. She was dealing with some stuff in Italy. She was helping us with our car and van while we were in Italy, and she was also dealing with things with her own. And these are all kind of repeats for her of things. So I feel bad for her, but she's getting things worked on, and hopefully things will be okay and run well for her. But I spent the morning doing that. I was up early to go pick her up, and then it's a little bit of a drive to get to her and then to get to the truck. And then we ate and I came back, and that pretty much got me back here in time, really, to start preparing for the live here. So I started preparing for the live, and then we're going to do the live. We're going to hang out for a little bit and look at some pretty beads. Hopefully, I want to buy some things, and then I'm going to go to my pottery class. So it is a busy, busy day. Um, from start to finish. I'm usually pretty wiped out after my pottery class. These days, because everything's shifted a little bit, um, they usually take a good bit out of me on Wednesdays. And this extra early morning with my mom, it was delightful. I love hanging out with her, and I get the chance to do that. And I'm lucky that I get the chance to do that. But it is earlier than I normally wake up. And so I tried to get myself to go to bed early last night, and the cats were acting up last night, so it got my blood pressure a little high. um and I started feeling myself getting very I was worn out, so I started getting very kind of and so I just it did force me to go to bed. I was planning to anyway, but then I sat up for a while until I kind of was able to calm my body down, and I didn't sleep great. Um, but I slept okay. I was going to take some melatonin to go to sleep because I was having a hard time getting to sleep, but I figured if I did that, I'd be worse off in the morning. So I'm a little worn out today. Um, and it's just been, there's a lot going on in the world. My mom and I were talking about things today, and all the things that are going on and the things that are affecting me, the things that are affecting Andrew. Um, it's been hard, and Andrew has been more vocal about it, I think, on his social media than I have. Um, I've talked about it. I've been a little bit upset about it on social media. I've shared some things, but I've not really gotten into a lot of my feeling on things. Um, I don't know if that's for the good or for the bad, but yeah, it's been a lot lately. Um, Marianne's here. Hello, Marianne. I don't know if anyone else is out there. Anybody else out there? Only Marianne said hi. Hi. Um, So I hope your day is going well. Mine, I have to say, my day is going pretty well. Um, there's so much going on in the background that we're working for and working towards, and trying to figure out and just keep everything going. It's always hard this time of year, and this year is no different. But we have put in place things that we hope people are going to be attracted to once we debut them. We're working on doing classes here in person and virtual classes that we're thinking about and working on. Um, Things that are a little different coming from us than what we have done kind of in the past. We haven't really done any classes other than we've done some one-on-one personal classes at the studio, at the Star Cottage studio, but we've never hosted classes for groups. And so we're working on doing that. Shifting things a little bit to that kind of thing, shifting things, getting some hopefully online virtual classes going on that we can do that hopefully people will enjoy. Um, and so it's a different thing, and it's shifting gears in some ways while still trying to stay true to what we do and who we are, and what we are best known for. And so I mean I have really high hopes for this year despite the things that are going on in the whole political arena. I have hope that what we are doing is the best thing for us. I do think that. I think we're working hard toward our goals, and we're trying to make some good plans about things. So um, I'm hopeful, but it is stressful. um, just doing these kind of things on a normal average, every other year, would be something and would be difficult, let alone the things we're facing and the pressure we're feeling and the out in there in the world right now. So that is that's what's going on here. Um, how's everybody else doing out there? Who's out there? Who's out there? I see about 7, 10 people. It's showing 10 people are watching. One person has said hi so far. Let me refresh Facebook. Maybe that's it. Um, nope. Nobody said hi. Nobody's gonna say hi to me. Nobody's gonna hang out. That's what this is all for. Hanging out. We sell stuff, but it's also to hang out and meet each other. I want to know you, not just have you know us. Um, so feel free to say hi if you're out there. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, thank you. We appreciate it. Please follow or subscribe us wherever you are. Um, and introduce us to your friends. Um, Marianne says, just lurkers, I guess, out there laughing. I know, people, just lurkers. Nobody's serious. Nobody's serious. Nobody wants to make friends. Hey, my mom just tuned in. So just tuned in. Hey there. Yep, I saw the number go up. That was her. Um, we just got people lurking. Nobody's talking. It works better if y'all talk. Real talk. Real talk now. It works better if y'all talk because you get to meet each other in the comments. You get to make friends. You don't have to be afraid. We're a good creative community that loves hanging out. We like to make friends. Be nice. That's the number one rule. Be nice. Um, let's see. Angela's here. Hello, Angela. Says sun's out, not here. It's not out here. It is gray. It is gray as can be here today. Yesterday was beautiful, though. I'm glad the sun's out for you. Yesterday was like 40 or 50 degrees. It was like 50 degrees and sunny. My mom said her thermometer in the sun said about 78. So that was nice to see, even though that's not true. But with that sun beaming on it, it got up to 78. So that's pretty nice. Um, but yeah. But it does. It always works better if people say hi, if people talk, because otherwise, I say a little bit. I don't have much to say today, y'all. Um, I didn't. My day was really taken up with helping my mom and traveling and all that today. So I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot to share. So if you don't have a lot to share, we'll just jump into the selling show. Normally we chat for like an hour beforehand, um, but today's a little different. Normally we go at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is when we get our ooh, that's squeaky, which is when we get our major, like a bigger crowd of people that watch. Um, Wednesdays are different because I got my pottery class tonight. So I'm gonna go work on some pendants. Let's see if I can throw pictures up this time. Last time I couldn't do it. It wasn't gonna let me. Um, there's some of the pendants I started, but then I also, let me see if I can add the file here, if it's gonna let me or not. Um, I found with my latest update to um, the camera app, or latest update to iOS, yeah, see, it doesn't like to sync my photos correctly unless I edit them. So sorry, I can't show you. Um, it doesn't like to sync anything unless I actually edit my photo. If I go in and edit my photo, syncs everything right away. But if I just take a photo, it sits forever before it syncs, and I can't share it even to myself. Like if I share it to my laptop or something with AirDrop, it will not, it prepares. It does this little thing where it prepares them and it won't work. But if I go in and edit the photo, even if I just change one little thing, like I change the brightness up just a little bit, it'll sync that photo right away. So it's very strange. I don't like it. It's not working right. I don't know if you're having this issue or not, if you have iOS or iPad OS. But when I take pictures with my phone, they are not syncing. So um, they ultimately sync, but not when I need them. Like normally, a lot of times what I do is I work on my computer, but I take pictures on my phone. And so I take all the pictures. And then usually it used to be that they would sync real quick over iCloud to my computer, but now they're not. So then I try to share them to myself using AirDrop, which is supposed to be this magical thing that works so well, um, except never for me. So when I share it, it goes into this preparing mode and it never prepares. It just never finishes. It has a little counter, never finishes. And so if I go into the photos though, and I like enhance them in any way or change them in any way, just up the brightness or up the contrast, just little quick things like that. Sometimes even rotating them. I just rotate them 4 times or 3 times. They go all the way around, and then they will sync. It's so weird and it's so annoying. And that's so when I try and grab photos like this, sometimes unless I've just edited the photo, it won't download them. And share them. It's so bizarre. Hey, Suzanne, thanks for being here. Um, Marianne has some clouds and some sun. Nice. Um, let's see. Marianne says, the only thing that happened in my world is rather sad and scary. Oh no, I hope all's okay. Says, I am fine, but there was a school shooting in Tumbler Ridge, 10 dead and multiple injuries. Yikes. That's very unusual for you, right? Um, we live in the USA. Unfortunately, that's not unusual, but up in Canada, that's very unusual. Um, it's a tragedy no matter what, but I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. And I'm sorry that it happened because normally those things don't happen. This is very unusual. Yes. Yeah, and I hope that's not the the start of something bigger that way up there. You don't want what we have. That's for sure. That's one of the things. Definitely don't want what we have. Vicky's here. Hello, Vicky. Thanks for joining us. Says I heard about that. So traumatic. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. That's terrible. That is terrible. And that's very sad. Um, yeah. Sorry. Um, those things. It's a wild world right now. Um, and we're definitely in a wild situation here. And I think a lot of that is popping out at various places around the world, um, which is not great to see. Harry's here. Hello, Harry. Thanks for being here. Now people are tuning in, saying hi. Our people who talk are starting to tune in more and more. um, Instead of just the lurkers out there, whoever you are. Um, but I got some nice emails today. Someone who hasn't ordered from us much, um, got one of our packages and was really happy with what they got. And that's always nice to hear. For one, it's nice to hear that things arrive to people, and another, it's nice to hear that they enjoy them. We are a very small business, and we generally remember your name. So, there are very few times when somebody replies or sends us an email that I don't remember shipping out their package. And so, we're not a big company that you are just, a number or a printed out label that's slapped on a package that's gathered by six people and put together. Um, when your orders come in, I pick them. For one, here, I show them to you. I invoice you for them. I pick them. I pull them. They come in the online store. I've put the listing out there for you to see. Um, and I go through and I pick it from our little shelving units that we have. We don't have a big warehouse. We have little shelving units, and I pick your order and then I put everything together and usually try and write a little note in there for everybody and ship it out, and I drop it off at the post office. So, um, we are very small, and it is nice, when people take the time to say that they enjoy what they got, um, or let us know that it arrived okay and they're happy about it. And sometimes there are issues too, and we don't like those as much, but we deal with them as best we can for everybody. But it is so nice when people take the time just to say, "Hey, I got it and I really love it," or whatever it is, um, because that means a lot. Because we put a lot into what we do. Um, we are we are not, we don't just bring stuff in and ship stuff out. It's not the way we are, and so we handpick pretty much everything we have. And if we don't hand pick it, we video pick it. Um, but it all passes through our hands. We make sure that it would be something that we would want to sell. We often have vintage materials and we do vintage buyouts. And sometimes when you do a vintage buyout, um, you don't get so much good stuff. Sometimes in a buyout, when we do things, we get a lot of junk and there might be a treasure in there or two. And so we go through all of that, and we don't just try and turn around and sell you the junk to try to make our money back. We oftentimes will take that as a loss, or we'll try and use it in something that we do that would be useful to us. Um, and then sometimes we have actually had sales where we sell, pieces of jewelry that are already created, or pieces like necklaces or bracelets that are like costume jewelry or things like that. And with the knowledge that, for one, we're passing these along very inexpensively, and two, knowing that you are probably going to cut them up for their pieces. They are not meant to be worn like that. And some people love that. It's like going to a flea market or a thrift store, and you get that kind of thrill that way with it, I think. Um, but sometimes it's utter, garbage that we get. It's rare because we try to do some pre-sorting and previewing before we do it, but you never know when you're buying buyouts, of vintage things. And so, we touch everything, and we confirm that everything we sell is something that we would use in our making. Um, and we're not going to sell it to you if it's not something that we would like to use ourselves. Now, we are, uh, sometimes very eclectic in the things that we would use. And so we know that some of you out there are too. So sometimes the things that we have, sometimes no one else has. Um, and that's okay. We like that. We think that's fun. But it's also, one of those things that, we do make sure that we try to put out a quality product. And because we are so small, if we're a huge store, people are going to come back whether they had a good experience or not. That's just the way it is. Like, you can go to Walmart and you can get so mad at something they did to you or something that wasn't fair. 90% of the time, probably, people are going to go back at some point, just because, out of necessity, out of convenience. Um, when Unfortunately, when people have that same issue with a small business, that is not the case. You know, we are not a necessity. We are not as much of a convenience maybe for people. And so not only do people sometimes go the route of bad mouthing you, but also, never coming back again. And so we do try to do our best to fix things if they go wrong. And hopefully people give us a chance to do that because, we try to make sure nothing goes wrong. But when it does, we try to fix it. And we try to, we try to make anything right that we can, um, when we have to. Most of the time, no problems, right? And like I said, it's great when we get those emails and they're like, I love it. Thank you for this. And we just hope people come back then. They remember that and they come back. And we try to do our best to offer the most unique and unusual and fun and beautiful things that we can, and hope that that brings people back because we do not have the budget to be out there spending money on tons of ads. Not that anyone would see them anyway. We've tried that sometimes, and it feels like we don't get any more hits in our website or in our lives when we do run ads. So maybe we're running the wrong ads. I don't know. But we just try and do our best, and hopefully you will share it with your friends. Let them know if you meet somebody who's a beater, you'll pass our card along or let them know. Give them our website, and hopefully people will come back and have a good time. Let's see here. Uh, let's see. Marion says you might expect that in our bigger cities, but Tumbler Ridge is quite a small place. That's sad. Um, let's see here. And Vicky's comment was held for review. Oh, because it says fondled, probably. It says I got my box yesterday. It was so late last night. I only got a quick little fondle before bed. Yeah, that's why you were held for review, Vicky. But that's funny. So I'm glad you got it. Hopefully everything arrived okay, and you love everything. But yeah, that's that's who we are. That's what we do. We are not fancy. Obviously, look at my backdrop. It's our trusty old like 70s wood paneling with our 70s um, curtains. I do like these curtains though. They remind me of my grandmother's curtains. Um, Growing up, at one point in my grandmother's house, they got the vertical blinds. They had all vertical blinds put in the house. Um, and they were really nice. But before that, she had curtains that I think, in my memory at least, were very, very much like this. And when we got this house, these were on the window, and um, it was, we cleaned them up. I mean, they were in very good shape. We just did a good cleaning on them, and I kept them in this room because I love them. And that's what it reminds me of. My mom says yes, she agrees. Yeah, it's just like my grandmother's curtains growing up. So I love those curtains. Those my grandmother had shears behind them. We don't have the shears. We have blinds that come down. But my grandmother had shears behind these, but these are like blackout. So they have this nice thick coating. They're kind of blackout curtains. Um, and they let a little bit of light in. But they she taught me how to hand sew at one point because the shears, sometimes the cats and dogs would, you know, either claw at them or just over time from using them being brushed aside. So my grandmother once taught me, and I don't remember how to do it now really, but I remember her teaching me how to hand sew them. So there's like those kind of memories with those. Um, Marion says, and she didn't say it was the beads that were fondled, right? No, she didn't technically say that. We're going to assume that was the implication there, but um, yeah, yeah, that's funny. So yeah, so we're not fancy here, but we try and do our best, and we hope that you like what we do, and we try to be real with you, um, and we have good conversations, I think, most of the time. most of the time. Sometimes they're just about what we ate and what we did that day, but that's okay too. I like to know what y'all ate. Last night Andrew made some. He started to make some dumplings. I don't even know what to call them. He had some dough that he made, and he was going to make dumplings, but he said they weren't coming out as dumplings. So then he did something else to them, um, and we had it over rice. And I think we have leftovers for tonight, but I have to see. He's sleeping right now, or was, or should be. I don't know if he is or not. I think he was just posting as I was getting ready for this live, so maybe he's not sleeping, but maybe he finally got to sleep. He was up all night with the cats, trying to trying to see how the girls were going to react with Gilbert. We brought Gilbert down last night and let the girls come out with him. There was a little bit of tension still. um, Gertie is used to being chased by him, so now in this more dominant role that the girls have taken, she's chasing him. She is the one chasing him a little bit now, um, which feels only fair, but also we can't have that happen. So we are. And he was working with them, trying to keep them calm. And the girls at one point were sitting with him, and Gilbert tried to jump up because he likes to sit with Andrew, and he tried to jump up and he saw the girls there and he got mad. Andrew said he just started bad mouthing and started back talking, and he was mad that he could not sit up there with him and that they were there and taking up his space. So he tried to hold him and he was not having it. So it's just it was quite the time. So he is in the bedroom with Andrew now, and I think Gertie is in there with him. I hope so because Gertie is not out here that I've seen. Tallulah and Idabelle and Barnaby are out with me. Um, let's see here. Who all is here? Oh, Vicky's laughing at Marianne, right? Leslie's here. Hello, Leslie. Thanks for joining us. Um, my mom says I've been avoiding the news lately by watching the Olympics and following the Monks Walk for Peace. Yes. I know Andrew was watching the Olympics the other night, watching some of the figure skating or ice dancing or whatever they call it, with that Ilya, I think is his name, um, who I think won gold for the U.S. if I'm not mistaken. He was watching that the other night, and that was pretty wild. That was good. I used to watch that with my gram. She loved watching the figure skaters. She didn't watch much else, I think, in the Olympics, but when the figure skating came on, she would sit down and watch it. And sometimes when I was up there, I'd watch it with her. And so it's nice. It's nice to watch that again too. Susan's here. Hello, Susan. Healing vibes to everyone who needs them, says Susan. Yes, that's a lot going on in the world, a lot of wildness. Um, but yeah, yeah. So how's everyone? How's everyone else? Um, my mom says, yeah, she'd love to see a Lydia skating out. Oh, she would love that. She would love that. I hope she's watching. Um, because yeah, she would absolutely. She loved watching the figure skaters, and my niece Lydia, she has been skating for years and years and years now, and she does very well, generally with it, and she's won a number of medals for it. She's still young, but she's doing really well, and my gram would have loved to watch her for sure. Um, Marion says they have revised the deaths to 9 and 27 injuries, but at least one is critical. Oh boy, that's hard. That's hard. Yeah, that's unfortunately not a rare thing here, but it's never easy, and it's especially less rare or less. It's more rare there, so I'm sure you're all feeling it a lot, and um, hopefully. I mean, I don't know. I never know what to say after those things because, it's happened so many times here and nothing has ever really been done about it. So I hope you all don't go the way we go. I hope that they are able to do more things about it and, you know, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Um, let's see here. Susan says, sorry I'm late. Had errands to run. William, I missed how your cats are doing. I hope things are better on that front. I was just talking about that. That's all I think you were here when I was just talking about it now. Um, yeah, Andrew had them out last night together. They're trying. They're working on it. Gilbert is still deathly afraid to come out of the bedroom pretty much by himself. Um, and when he is out, he sits on his cat tree. And they usually leave him alone as long as he's up there. But if he tries to come to eat or sits on the ground, that's when he's very nervous, and I think they sense that fear. And once they kind of sense that fear, it's easier to pick on him because of it, I think. So we're trying to make sure they stay separate and make sure that what they are doing, they know what they are doing is not good. Um, but we're trying to be assertive about that to them, but he is not in any position that he's sticking up for himself, which is what makes it even harder because um, he translates kind of to prey to them at that point because he will run away from them. He doesn't really fight back much. He kind of cowers. So it's making it difficult. So we're trying to let them know that it's not acceptable, but it's hard because until they actually start doing something, you can't tell them no, right? Because they don't understand if they're not actually doing it. You can't, so you have to wait for them to do it, and we don't want to do that, but you have to wait for them to do something to be able to tell them don't do that and to correct them. So it's hard. It's been hard. Um, hey, Kimberly, thanks for joining us. My mom says, so hard to understand such senseless violence. Yeah, yes, it is. Um, uh, Vicky says, you'll hear about it in the US because certain factions here will exploit who the shooter was. Sometimes we just don't stop it. So, I have actually not heard about many recently, and I doubt that's because they're not happening. I think it's just because we as a country have just decided not to do anything about it. And that's so sad. Um, it's a really sad thing to say, and it's horrible, but that seems to be where we are, which is ridiculous. But um, yeah, and it's a hard thing. Susan says our first cat, Mr. Boots, bullied Smokey. This resulted in fights with a couple of ER vet runs. See, that's what we do not want. We saw like Ida Bell was biting into Gilbert at one point. She just had fur, thankfully. Um, but like he peed himself in the bathroom. She cornered him in the bathroom and he peed himself all over the bathroom. So that's not acceptable and that's not what we want. So we're trying to keep an eye out, trying to keep him separate. We have common collars on everybody except Barnaby. He doesn't need one. Um, he kind of fights back and he just puts his paw on their head and says no. Like that's um and sometimes they still try and tussle with him, but he also has his asthma, and if he gets too worked up he starts coughing. um and they stop once he starts coughing generally. So um and he will play with them, I think, and that's the difference between him and Gilbert. Gilbert has always run from them. Barnaby will run with them. Like he will run and then he'll chase them and they'll chase each other. Um, and I think in some ways that's what they want from Gilbert, but because Gilbert just turns and runs away instead of running with them and playing with them, he turns kind of into prey that way. And so it's a very different dynamic. So they all have calming collars, and hopefully, um, in a few days, once all the pheromones sit in, my mom also got us pheromone spray that I've been spraying around the house, trying to, neutralize any whatever is going on. um, Hopefully things will calm down and we'll get things settled again. It's going to take probably Gilbert getting more less anxious, because I think they sense that from him. And once, animals are, once they sense there's a weaker one or anxious, or they get pushed out. And so we're trying not to let that happen too much. So we'll see. I don't know what just started this. It only started about a week or two ago, and no idea why it started this badly. Like they've always tussled. Like he used to chase um, Gertie, and they would chase each other, and they would do more of the back and forth. But now it's really been that they are really ganging up on him, and it's been hard. This poor Gilbert, send him on vacation to Colorado. I'll spoil him, says Vicky. Yeah, he's a good boy. He is a very um, we call him a tender-hearted boy. Um, and so he has a tender heart, and he has always been a little bit more anxious. And I can definitely, I can feel that because that I'm more anxious. Um, and so he's always, I think like he's always been kind of on the bottom of the chain of command, even like when Babette and Paolo were alive. Babette was definitely the alpha, and Paolo just was fine with that. Generally, they didn't fight about it very much. And then Barnaby and Gilbert came, and sometimes there was some tussling and whatnot, but Babette pretty much asserted herself as the top of the chain, and she kept things in control. um, Now, uh, Paolo did chase Gilbert sometimes, and he did the same thing then, as he would run and he wouldn't play. And so we had to kind of nip that in the bud. And every once in a while, Paolo would take off after him. And you never knew why or when, but it wasn't very often. And generally, they all got along pretty well. Um, and when Babette passed away, that kind of ruined the chain of command, and Barnaby and Gilbert kind of fought over it. Barnaby with his asthma is, he's smaller anyway. Um, but and because Gilbert's he's a big cat. Um, they would tussle back and forth, and I don't think any of them really wanted it. Like I felt like they didn't really want it, but they still did it because that's what they do, and they kind of figured it out by with themselves. And when the girls came, um, I think they were kind of happy to give it up to Ida Bell. She kind of taken that role. um, and we've got the matriarchy here in the house because it was Babette, and then now it's Ida Bell. um, and generally it works, but it's just they're I guess proving to Gilbert that he's on the bottom now. And with Gertie being the smallest, he still felt like he could tussle back and forth with her and be, kind of stand above her. And the girls are kind of trying to say, I think, no, you don't. You are at the bottom. And I wish he would just be like, all right, like, I don't want this anyway. I'll do my own thing. But there's some issues there somewhere. Um, Susan says, now that Smokey is top cat, he will hiss at Phil if the little guy gets too rambunctious. My hubs will shout at them both to stop with his booming voice. Yeah, I've done some yelling. Um, my voice isn't that booming, I guess, but I have done some yelling and banging on doors and walls. You gotta I don't like to do that. I don't like them to fear us, but I think in some cases they have to realize that there is a even further top in the chain. My mom was talking about this a little bit. They have to realize you are actually the top in the chain of command. They can have their own within themselves until you have to assert yourself into that, and they have to realize that there's a bigger chain of command. And I think that's important sometimes, and that's what we're trying to do, make sure that things don't happen. But we'll see. Marianne says Sif is top cat in this menagerie. Susan says I've had 3 cats and still don't understand their behaviors. I know, right? Susan says Richard has a deep baritone. They jump if he goes into booming mode. I bet. Yeah, yeah. It's sometimes that really deep voice would come in handy. Andrew can get deep. He can go real deep if he needs to sometimes, and that does sometimes settle them down. Um, but yeah, cats. Hopefully they'll figure this out sooner than later because it has worn me out a little bit extra. Like I've already been worn out. I have to say, um, I know I'm probably not the most lively person on the live lately because I have been worn out for like weeks now. And with everything going on in the world and just in our lives and everything, I'm trying to just keep on a, you know, put on a good face, keep going, do the best we can. And that's all we can do, right? Sometimes that's a lot. And sometimes that truly is all you can do. And sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you just have to, realize and just put it out there that things are tough and you're worn out, and it's okay. It's okay to be worn out. Everyone's worn out once in a while, and I am worn out today. Um, the cats last night, it was just Tallulah. It was a simple thing. When you get to those simple things that make you crazy, you're worn out. Tallulah was downstairs. I let her go downstairs with Barnaby, and I carried her up, and then I had to go down and get Barnaby, and he didn't want to come up, so I said, "Okay, you can stay down there." And then I opened the door, and Tallulah just ran down the stairs again, and I was like maxed out, ready for bed. I was coming up just to go to bed. Like that was my next thing was bed. And the fact that she ran down there, and then I had to go and find her again and figure out where she went downstairs and try and get her to come out, that was all I could take. And so, when it gets to things like that, just a simple thing that normally she runs downstairs, I just, wait for her to come out somewhere and get her. But I was like up to here. Um, and that was it for me last night. It was too much. Um, so that, yeah, when things are at that level, when simple things aggravate you so much, um, you're a little bit worn out. I was a little bit worn out. So it was nice to actually take the day and hang out with my mom a little bit, um, uh, and just get out of the house. I mean, I'm always out of the house, but further away and just take a drive. Sometimes I think just taking a drive is nice. And so that helped a little bit. And then I'll go to pottery tonight. And usually I'm thinking a lot in pottery, like what I want to do. And I can't show you the pictures, but I'm working on pendants. Some of you may have seen them on my William Tries Things page um, on Facebook. And so it is sometimes mentally exhausting because I am not generally an illustrator. I'm not somebody who paints or draws very often, so I'm trying to do these little pictures and little, just little flowers and things like that. And for me, that's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of thinking, and I'm a little bit slow at it because I don't do it very often, and I'm trying to be faster, but also trying to make them nice. What I don't even know if they're going to turn out nice. Who knows? So it's all these things, and it's a class. So I'm generally trying to learn new things every time I'm there. So I'm usually pretty exhausted by the end of Wednesdays, and so we'll see. We'll see how I am tonight, but it's probably going to be an early to bed night, I hope. Um, Susan says my voice gets too squeaky. Yeah, mine, it depends. I can go fairly deep, but I just because I do not generally get loud. Um, so, and I don't, when I get, I don't know how I want to explain it. Like, I don't generally get loud and I don't generally get stern, I guess is what it is. And so if I get a little bit loud and a little bit stern, generally the cats know that I'm not happy. Like they can definitely sense that I am not happy with them. So that sometimes is enough. Um, but uh, yeah, sometimes it takes more than that. Uh, Sue says the world is just too weird right now. It's a lot. It is a lot. Um, and I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired. Not afraid to admit it. But on we must go, right? We got to keep going. And we love what we do. That is the one, I have to say, it's one of the major saving graces in all of this is that thankfully I love what we do. Um, we work with beautiful things. We get to talk and interact with amazing people. Um, we get to set mostly our own hours. I mean, we have to do some certain things within time constraints and certain hours, but we have a schedule that kind of more fits our lifestyle. Even if I do still feel guilty because I sleep in and stay up late, it's still like when you're a kid and you're like sleeping in and you feel guilty for sleeping in, but that's my life. Like I work until 3 or 4 in the morning, or at least we're up until 3 or 4 in the morning. And we figure 8 hours from there, it makes sense that I'm sleeping in. But the world makes you feel guilty for that. Um, and I think that's starting to change a little bit by little bit. People are starting to not be so, especially with people working remotely and doing things, people are figuring out that that's not for everyone. You know, that the 9 to 5, or the 8 to 4, or the 7 to 3, the 6 to 2, is not for everyone. And it definitely never worked for me. I had a very hard time with that kind of schedule. And so we are very lucky that we do what we do. Um, I honestly cannot even imagine having a job right now that I didn't like. With the state of the world that we are living in, with the things that we are concerned about, with the weight of, you know, my worries and Andrew's worries and everything happening. If we were going to jobs that we actually didn't like much, I don't know. I don't know how I would do it, to be honest. I have a lot of respect for people who are carrying on um, doing that because I know how worn out I feel and I love what we do. Working for yourself is sometimes a lot harder than having another job. So there's an offset there, maybe, even if you don't like your job. Um, but at least we have that. And like I said, we interact with you all who are amazing and supportive and can commiserate with us. um, and some people don't get that. So I feel lucky in that way, but it is heavy out there right now. Um, Kimberly says, yeah, I really do not like taxes. I want to bead full time, right? It's I wish I could do just the beading. I wish I could do the beading full time, or the making full time. There's so much else that's involved in it, but some people do mostly make a living doing the beading full time, which is wonderful if you can. Um, I do like other parts of the work. Um, I just wish we could do more of the things like the videos and the tutorials. And I like the filming. I like the, working on editing. Um, I like the tech aspect of things. And so I wish we could do more of that. And we're working on that, but we're not there quite yet. but I cannot imagine doing taxes like you do, like every day for people. That would be that's not my life. But my mom was a bookkeeper and did a lot of that kind of stuff day after day after day, working with numbers for a multi currency business, in multinational, and not. I mean, she did it, and she learned a lot. And I think there were parts of it she really enjoyed, but I couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't do that. Um, I mean, I guess you do what you have to do, right? That's the thing. And um, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that we get to do what we get to do. I wish I could do more of the things I want to do, but time, time will come. Um, yeah. Anyway, I can't talk too long because I've got to leave the house to go to pottery class. So I am going to um, I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to take a look at some, hopefully, things you think are beautiful. I think they are. Um, I was watching a here, let me flip this as I keep talking. I was watching a YouTube video on my way home today, and um, there's this woman named Pearl, and she is um, wild in a wonderful way. Um, she talks about things about how you should be a little bit more crazy in a good way, right? And sorry, I'm trying to talk and flip the camera at the same time. I like doing two things at the same time. Um, but she's really good at talking about things and how you should be your authentic self and as much as you can, and let your your inner wildness out from time to time. And it was kind of insightful, and she talks about how every single day, we often get to the point in our lives where um things are difficult to it's harder and harder for us to find joy or find entertainment in things. Like it takes it takes a big trip to make you feel like you're doing something, and it takes these big moments for you to feel these things about your life. And she's like, you can walk by the water and just think it's amazing because there's water there. Like, and she's also one, she's like, talk to the trees, talk to the wind. And she's like, you can reimagine your world as everything is interesting if you want to. And like at the very moment she said that, I was driving down the road and I looked at a guardrail and like, you know what? I can't imagine like how many people it took to make that guardrail. And when you really start thinking about things, like we just pass guardrails every day, but there is a deeper layer to everything. If you want to be interested in it, you could, right? Like there's the metal sourcing for the guardrail. There's the factory that it's made in, the people who made it. There's the people who made the machines who make the guardrail. Like, and it just really kind of hit me like that's a it's a really interesting thing to think that we have more of an ability than we give ourselves credit for to um to actually uh, entertain ourselves, right? um we're going to do IDB. This is Idabel today. IDB lots. Number one, this was 42. This is 36. This is beautiful Amazonite, faceted drops. Let's see here. Um, Susan says, Kimberly, taxes are so stressful. Um, Kimberly says, they are, Susan, but I relieve my stress with beading. My mom says, but glad to be retired now. Enjoy learning, but now happy not to look at numbers all day, too. And Kimberly says, I hope to be able to retire to a beach bungalow where I can bead and create all day. That would be wonderful, right? And these are graduated from one end to the other. in this beautiful Amazonite. This is a high quality strand. And this is a Russian Amazonite. So it's got the white lines through it, which are really pretty, I think. I love the patterns it makes. Marion says, I talk to the trees, rabbits, squirrels, and assorted birds regularly. I often talk to animals. Very often do I talk to animals. I should talk to the trees more. I talk to plants in general. This is about 9.5 up to, let's see if I can get a hold of this one, up to about 13 millimeters on those. One strand available. IDB1 was $42. I've only got one left, reducing it down to 36 for y'all. If anybody's interested in that. IDB1, you know what the heck? Let's take it down to, I'll take it all the way down to 32. Never have done that. So $32 if you're interested in that. Suzanne says, look, tassels. I know, right? Tassels. That means it's a high quality strand, right? You know. Suzanne says, I tell my students to find the beauty in everyday things. Yeah, I think we have to do that. I am one who does not do that as often as I should. And maybe this is not a miracle realization to some of you, but to me, it really kind of pointed out the fact that, I used to do that more as a kid and used to wonder about things more, but it does take more in life now for me to feel like I get interested in things than it used to, when really there's interest all around if you really look at it. Um, she's pretty fun to watch. I don't know if I could be her friend every day, and she would be okay with that, I think, um, because she is a lot in the way that she is herself, and I think I think it would still be fun, but I think it would be smaller doses for me, but that's okay, right? She probably couldn't handle me in large doses either because I'm probably not on that same wavelength either. I'm definitely not. Kind of wish I was more. These are Czech glass. These are AB cubes, clear Czech glass, AB finish cubes. And I think there are 4 millimeters. Yeah, 4 millimeters. There are 4 strands available. They're $4 a strand, IDB 2. Let's see, sorry, I was trying to sneeze. Susan says, I talk to my cats and listen to music. I enjoy discovering sounds I didn't know about. Plus, I love checking out internet radio stations. Yeah, it's good to have interests like that, right? And I used to be interested in a lot of things in nature, and I used to love walking in the woods when I was a kid. And I kind of miss doing some of that. I haven't done that in a while. And I think a lot of it is getting back to our childhood. Um, Sometimes we all need to do that, I think, as adults every once in a while. And she was talking about that too. Like, kids just don't care. Kids are who they are. And she said sometimes we always try to be the same person. Like, whatever room we're in, we're trying to be the same person. And she says sometimes different rooms call for different people. And it's okay that we have multiple people in us and we react different ways to different people. And because kids do that, right? Um, Kids go into a room, and depending on who they're talking to or what they're talking about, they could be completely different. And as adults, for some reason, we think that we have to fit into this one personality we've decided for ourselves, or somebody else has decided for us. And you can go in and be whoever is true to you at that moment. And that kind of hit me too, because I know, like, we go to a lot of events, at least we used to go to more, but you always try to kind of, you try to conform the event to you sometimes instead of just being relaxed. Like, we're often wallflowers because we feel like it's harder to fit in. Um, This, by the way, is one of these beautiful Nepal pieces with turquoise. One of these available was $12, taking it down to 10. But is 19 and a half by 32 and a half. And, I try to conform sometimes, instead of just being who I am. Just, let the situation dictate and be okay with that. Susan says Radio Cult is an app that has online access to community radio stations. That's awesome. There was also one. I don't know if it has the same kind of thing. I listened to one that was called Radio. I think it had a lot of I's or a lot of O's in it, which was always hard because I still don't know how to tell people to find it. Um, but it had a lot of internet radio stations from all over the world, and you could search the map and find radio stations from any country. Um, so I would listen to a lot of Spanish and French music through that. And I just happened to find that app again on my iPad. I forgot about it for a long time. And I don't even know if it's still available, but I found it and I gotta look into it to see if the app is still going because I really loved it and I forgot about it. I used to play it in the car all the time. I had it on my phone too. It's funny how we can do something almost every day and then suddenly one day we stop and then we forget completely all about it. Susan says Radio Garden is a good one too. I think I've heard of Radio Garden. I may have actually had Radio Garden at one point too. Um, this is plated vintage plastic, metal plated, silver plated vintage plastic. We've got one strand of these available. They're super light, super bright and fun. And that's IDB for $6. One of those available. Yeah, Radio Garden sounds really familiar. I think I've had Radio Garden. Sorry, taking a drink, everyone. I'm going to write down Radio Garden because I feel like I've had that app and I need to see if I still have it. And the other one is Radio Cult. Check those out. Always get good tips from y'all. I think that's important too. This is 128. I will do this down to 78. Super low price. And these are some beautiful aquamarine nuggets. This pale aqua. And these beautiful quality, high-end gemmy stones. Beautiful aquamarine. And these are already done on a sterling silver lobster claw and sterling silver extender chain. So you can take them apart if you want. You can wear them as is. Beautiful aquamarine. It's a very pale aqua, which I think is gorgeous. I do have two strands of these. This one is a little bit smaller in these kind of stones, but it has some really big chunky ones toward the middle. This one has keeps the same kind of size. They're sometimes a little bit longer, but and these ones are also, maybe there's some more, I'm going to say almost moss aqua. You can see some of these in here. So let me show you the two. You can pick a strand if you want, or we'll pick for you, whichever you prefer. I'll show you the two. One is a little bit more blue. This one's a little bit more blue with some aqua in there. This one's more uniform in color, but a little bit lighter. Just depends what you like. Both are available, both the same price, $78 each. Let's see here. Let me check. Oh, we've sold IDB 4. So let me put that away. Thank you so much. And let's see here. Let me move these down, make some room. And let me refresh here just to check, make sure. Oh, Suzanne said, bless you. Thank you. I had to refresh Facebook. It wasn't refreshing. Facebook is rarely refreshing these days, isn't it? This is beautiful. This is a very good price on this too. This is $16. Some of you out there may remember Saki Silver. They did beautiful toggles from Thailand. And this is a sterling silver toggle of theirs. It is a 2 strand toggle. And it is, you can see here, Saki, and it has the 925 stamped in it. So this is a sterling silver toggle, stamped 925. Beautiful. And it's $16 for the toggle. One toggle available. Just one of those left. Where am I? IDB7. Where is my, let me see here. This is $5. I've only got one of these left. IDB7. And these are these beautiful melon vintage check glass beads. Beautiful melons. They're kind of pink. They've got pink with the kind of brown or caramel. It's really unique. I think they're really pretty. Just one strand left, and they are $5 for the strand. Let me give you a size on these two. These are about, well, at their widest, about 10 millimeters, 9.5 to 10 millimeters on those. Let's go ahead and put away the Amazonite. Nobody has grabbed those yet. Put those away. Only $32, lowest price ever on those. Beautiful Russian Amazonite faceted drops. IDB2 are the beautiful check glass cubes with that AB rainbow finish. $4 a strand, 4 strands available. And I'll put 3 away as well. 3 is this Nepalese cone bead. One of those available, $10 only. Check my email here. Oh, we've sold 7. Thank you so much. That melon strand is gone. IDB 7. Let's move 5 down and 6 down. 8. We've got one more of these melon strands, but this time in a different color. Get my paper up here. IDB 8. And we have these in green. Beautiful melons in this beautiful spring green. Kind of like a pea green, but a little bit, maybe a little bit more yellow. It's really bright, nice bright spring green. I am waiting for spring. I am loving spring. I'm waiting for spring so much. And this is 10 millimeters on those. Suzanne's asking, could I ask for positive vibes tomorrow afternoon? I'm having a heart test. Yes, absolutely. What time? What time? So we all know when to send the positive vibes. We'll send them anyway. We'll send extra positive vibes during the heart test. Suzanne says, I just used that green strand yesterday. It is fantastic. Thank you for saying so. It's really fun. It's a good color. Marianne said, vibes coming, Suzanne. (1:30) Central Standard Time. Okay. That's what, 12:30 here? Just about, just afternoon, I think. Send those good vibes out. All right. What is this? What do we got here? We have a beautiful strand of these pearls. Got one of these left. Was 24. We'll take it down to 20. $20 for y'all. IDB 9. Beautiful vintage freshwater pearl strand. Says yes. Okay, 12:30 Eastern time. Was 24. Beautiful vintage pearls. One strand left of these little beauties. Susan says, yes, Suzanne, positive vibes to you. Look at how beautiful these are. Look at the peaches. I see peach. I see pink. I see blue. Really pretty colors in there. One strand available. These are approximately about 7 millimeter beads, 7 millimeter pearls. Was 24, now 20 for that strand. Suzanne says, no, sorry. Eastern time is 2:30. Oh, that's right. We're going ahead. 2:30. Yes. Thank you. 2:30. So I'm gonna write a note for myself. 2:30, Suzanne. So we can make sure to send good vibes. I definitely know what it's like to deal with the heart stuff, so I hope all goes well for you. I don't want that to happen to anybody we care about. These are $6, and there are 3 of them available. IDB 10. Susie's here. Hello. How are you doing over there, neighbor? I feel like we talk here on the live, but haven't messaged you in a while. How are you doing? How's everything going over there? These are these check glass buttons. Look at that. I feel like I sound like I'm sick. I'm not sick. I'm just like coughing and sneezing, and it feels like it's all allergy related. But like I have no fever. I have no nothing like that. Beautiful check glass buttons. These are like these sunflowers, but they're in these amazing, it's kind of like a psychedelic sunflower, is what it looks like to me. Psychedelic sunflower. How about that? 22 millimeters, $6 each, 3 of them available. My mom says, positive vibes headed your way, Suzanne. IDB 11. Okay. Have these. These are carved bone. I'm going to do them individually. This is IDB 11, carved bone. This one, I translated these before the show. This says good fortune. Good fortune. Susie says, waiting for spring. Oh, I know. Me too. Good fortune. IDB 12. This other one translated to wealth. Whoops. Wealth. Come on. Wow. I cannot pick that up. It kept getting stuck on the string. Wealth. They're flat back pendants, carved bone, dyed as well. Good fortune and wealth. And we just sold 11. Thank you so much. I'll put that one away. Susan says that up down weather can be hard on allergies. Oh, you're telling me. I feel like I can barely breathe most days, and I already have issues with my nose. I probably have one that probably should have whatever they call that. You know, when you get your nose done because you can't breathe. Bring these away. This beautiful aquamarine. I probably should have that looked at. I never have. I can barely breathe out of my nose as it is. And then now it's been like extra. And it's been really hard. And now I'm getting like this phlegmy talk about all my problems, but like in my throat and nose. And it's really hard. And I don't know where it's coming from or what it's coming from, because like I'm usually allergic to ragweed. When I did my allergy tests, that's all that came up was pretty much ragweed, and that's not growing right now, but I don't know what is floating around in the air. Oh, we just sold 12 too. Thank you so much. Grab a bag. You gotta find my bags. What do you do with them? There we go. Stop stop fumbling that wealth wish. I know, right? It's like wealth doesn't want to be in my hand. That's not a great sign. It's like, wealth, stop running away from me. Stop trying to fall through my hands. I need you. Um Marianne says, I had a stress test once. It was a chemical that was injected. It hurt a lot until he slowed it down. Glad I haven't had to do it again. I have heard there is a I have heard there's a chemical. Sometimes they do the stress test with running and stuff, I guess on a treadmill and all that. And sometimes it's chemically induced. And I don't want to do either one, but if I had to pick one or the other, I would probably want the running one. I'd rather just go running. But I guess for some people, running is not optimal, so they do the chemical one, which seems very weird to me. But I've heard that one can be difficult for people sometimes. Snow mold, says Marianne. Maybe, I don't know. Um, rhinoplasty. Is it rhinoplasty? I know that's a nose job, rhinoplasty, but I guess the deviated septum, I guess that's the main concern a lot of times. That rhinoplasty that fixes that. I don't know. I don't know how that works. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 of these buttons. I'm going to do them for $4 each. Marion says, I am not good on a treadmill. I am. I'm still a little okay on a treadmill, probably. I do try and go running. Thallium stress test is discomforting, says Suzanne. Is that the chemical one? Kimberly says, I had it with my sinus surgery. They repaired my deviated septum and cleaned out my sinuses. I feel like that's what I need. These are vintage buttons, check glass, and they have little cars on them. They're super cute. You got any car lovers in your life? Glass buttons, little cars in this kind of pearlescent white. And these are $4 each. I've got 12 of them available. They're 14 millimeter buttons, IDB 13. Susie says, I had the chemical once. I didn't like the feeling. Next time I did the treadmill. Yeah, I don't know. Getting injected with something that makes you feel that feel. I don't know if I would like that. I mean, I guess if you have to, it's one thing if you have to. If you have the choice. I don't know that I would choose that. Marianne says used rhinoplasty for deviated septum. Yeah, that's I feel like I need that. But maybe not. Maybe it's just my sinuses are inflamed all the time because I'm allergic to everything. I don't know. We had this at 96. I'm going to bring it down to 76. We've only got one. You may have seen these ones before. These are, or maybe you didn't. These are hand carved, 2-hole. Blue chalcedony. Think, William. Blue chalcedony. You ever want a word so bad that it like leaves you until you don't want it as much? That's me. It's like, what blue chalcedony? One strand available, hand carved lotus beads. Each one's different because they're hand carved. They're 2 holes, great for a bracelet, very fun for a bracelet. Susan said those are beautiful. All right, look at that. Look how beautiful that would be. Put some beautiful beads and seed beads or smaller beads in between each one. Beautiful bracelet. Really bringing the price down for you. $76. Don't tell Andrew. I think he said he wanted this back if it didn't sell the last time. So this might be its last chance. Let's see. Marion says, of course, when they did mine, it only took 3 people multiple attempts to insert the line. Oh boy. Kimberly says, I had to have a CT to verify the inflammation and chronic infection. Then I was scheduled for surgery. That does not sound like fun at all. At all. Sounds like something I would put off indefinitely, to be completely honest. But I'm glad you had it done. Has it been better since you had it done? Has it been noticeably better, I guess, is the question. Was it worth it? Was it worth it is the question. Ooh, this is nice. We had this at 32. Let's do it at 26. Nobody's interested in this one. IDB 15 is this beautiful lampwork glass. Oh, I love this bead. Lots of great greens for spring in there. Those amber colors. Kimberly says, not fun. Recovery sucked. Ask me in the spring when stuff is growing. Can you breathe now, though? Like, if I could like actually breathe through my nose most days, that would be a delight, even if it's not allergy season. Gorgeous beads, says Marianne, right? Look at the work in that. Look at the layers. Can you see the layers upon layers inside, even? Like these three pieces here are higher than like the green and the brown underneath. It's just such a multi-layered bead, and it's so pretty. There's like so many different textures. I mean, it's all except you got these you got these glass squiggles on the outside, but that's all under glass and it's all flat, but there's layer upon layer inside. It's so pretty. One available, of course, artisan made, 30.5 millimeters by 35.5. No, I'm sorry, 34.5. 34.5. Kimberly says, I had it done at the end of September and was recovering due to cedar pollen. Yes, I can breathe better, but it still feels funky. My nose is still somewhat numb. Ugh. See, I don't know. That kind of talk scares me. I'm like, nah, I've lived with this way all my life. I guess I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. IDB 8 is still available. It's these green melons. $5. Only one strand of those left. Nobody wants it. Take that last strand from us. IDB 9. Where's my? So I use this bag. I don't know where the bag went for that. IDB 9. These pearls still available. $20 for the strand only. IDB 10. I'm going to put the psychedelic sunflowers away. 3 of those available, $6 each. Vintage check glass buttons. And we're going to move this button down. This is that little car button. Super cute. $4 each. 12 of them available. This is the blue chalcedony, hand-carved lotus beads, and the lampwork glass. Kimberly says, yeah, I've been told that it will go away. I'm only 5 months out from surgery. Ooh. I hope so. I've like 5 months feels like I feel like that's a long time. I guess it's not after a major surgery like that, but I'm like, oh, that feels like a long time. IDB 16, $8 each. 2 of these available. These beautiful vintage check glass beads, kind of cathedral beads. Gorgeous, gorgeous green and silver. Love those. They're about 6 millimeter beads. 2 strands left of those. IDB 16. Can't believe we still have one of these available. I even forgot we had these. These are so cool. These are IDB 17. These are these little arrow beads. They are a 2-hole bead. You can see they have a hole on each side. I call them arrows. I'm sure they have a name. But they're this beautiful metallic kind of pink purple. See it better if I don't shine the light right on them. You'll see the pinker side and then the more purpley side. 1 strand of those available, IDB 17. One, 2, 3 of these left. This is amazing that these are only $8 a strand. And I'll tell you why, because these are table cut, and usually table cut beads are a lot more than $8. This is the old price, $8. Table cut beads, beautiful red color. What is that? Piece of sticker on there. That beautiful finish around them, the table cut down to the red. So these are done because the whole bead would have originally been done in this finish, and then they table cut them flat, and they reveal the red underneath after it's been coated. And these they're really pretty. They're about 11 by 15.5 millimeters. 3 strands available, $8 a strand. I'm going to put the little car beads or car buttons away. IDB 13. It's a little car button. I think those would be fun to replace if you know somebody who likes cars, like on a button-up shirt, like on the cuff buttons. I think that would be a fun little thing to replace the buttons on a cuff sleeve. That'd be fun. 13. I'm going to put 14 away. That's those. Suzanne says, exceptional table cuts. I have a strand. Man, they're really pretty. I love them. I'm glad you loved them too. Move this down. Not quite take that one off yet. Move this one down. Move this one down. And move this one down. Kimberly says, it has been getting better very slowly. It is not a surgery I would ever want to repeat. It really freaked out my husband when they brought him back. Blood had pooled on my neck. What? You're not making it sound any better. There's less and less of a chance that if I needed to do this that I would be doing it. I'm like, I will just suffer with my allergies. Thankfully, I don't think I have infections, which is the hard part, right? I know you were dealing with that. These are only $4 each, and there are 6 of them available. IDB 19 says, yeah, it was draining down my face. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. These are a twisted coin bead. Let me see if I can get the light right. Like a twisted little mini coin in this bright red, which is really pretty. It goes really well with those, by the way. IDB 19, $4 only per strand. 6 strands left. 6 strands available. Oops. Oh, he's sitting in my lap. You have to put him in the pile. Yesterday, we had some of those check glass beads that look like, I said, they look like old crystal. Um, I think Susan said hotel crystal. Is that you? Um, and they were smaller beads. Now I have these larger ones that are very similar, only they are bigger. They still have that kind of yellow tint to them, which looks like an old crystal. And they're this beautiful cut. One strand of these available. It's $17 for the strand. Nice big beads. If you make any sun catchers or things like that, I think these would be beautiful on them, or just using one as a pendant. But you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 beads on the strand. And it's $17 for the strand. That's a really good price per bead, actually. They are at the largest about 17.5 millimeters, I'd say. By about, yeah, about 17.5 by 17.5. One strand available of those, IDB 20. Kimberly says, because I'm allergic adhesive, they couldn't use the normal dressing, so it was crazy. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that was not, no fun. No fun at all. I'm going to put this away. It's still available. No one has grabbed it. Beautiful Lamport glass bead. IDB 15. IDB 16 are these cathedral cut. Beautiful check glass. $8 each. 2 strands of those available. And I'm going to put 17 away as well. So we'll make some more room here. 17 are the arrows, the double hole arrows. $6 for the string. IDB 17. 18, 19, and 20. Sorry, I'm picking up the pace a little bit because I'm looking at the time. I'm gonna get ready for pottery. IDB 21. Try not to go too fast, but we'll pick it up a little bit. This was 14. I will do it 10. Okay. This is IDB 21. This is this beautiful lampwork glass heart with a little flower. Artisan made lampwork glass heart with a little blue flower. And it is about 14.5 by 15.5. IDB 21, $10. We had some of these yesterday. Some of them sold, some of them didn't. And I found another batch of these. These are those these check glass buttons. They're various sized, but these are the pink version. And there's like 4 different sizes here. They're pink and white. And they start at the largest is 15.5, and then 13, and then 11, and then 8.5. So you get one of the big ones, one of the smallest, and then two of the other two sizes. The other ones didn't sell last night, which were these ones that we had, the black and blues and grays. And Andrew said if they don't sell, he's keeping them. So he kept those ones. These pink ones are available at $10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Normally 12. We price them about $2 each on average. So average amount would give them to you for 10 if you're interested in those. We've just sold 21. Thank you so much. That's that little Lamport glass heart. These over. All right. IB 23. This is $11. We only have one of these. I think we only ever had one of these. We still have the one. This is a large check glass hand painted dragonfly button. We have it in pink with blue wings, red eyes, and a black body. Hand painted dragonfly button, vintage check glass, metal shank on the back. Nice large button, $11 only. And that's a 31 millimeter button. IDB 23. And IDB 24. We have one strand of these left. This is a whole strand of buttons in this kind of amber, light amber or citrine, more like citrine. I guess a citrine color is correct. Kind of like a light citrine button. It's a whole strand of buttons. And it's only $12 for that whole strand, which is an exceptionally good deal. If you want a nice strand of vintage check glass buttons, really break them up and sell them for even $1 a piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's about 12 right there out of the whole strand. So 12, 24, at least what, about 36 probably on there, at least. $12 for the strand, only one strand available. IDB 24. Okay, next up, I have this one, IDB 25. And this is a green grape button, vintage check glass with some of that goldstone glass on there. Beautiful green grape. button. And that is 15 by 24 millimeters approximately, IDB 25. IDB 18, put that away. 3 of those available. IDB 19, $4, 6 of those available. IDB 20, 1 strand of those available, $17. Those big, beautiful check glass beads, and that crystal look. And let me move these down. 24, I'm sorry, 22, 23, 24, and 25. IDB 26. We had these yesterday, but they were blue. Today I have the black ones. If you missed out on the blue ones, you might want these. $5 each. They are a black heart check glass button with the ladybugs or ladybirds on them. Vintage check glass, glass shank. And there are 4 of them hand painted, 4 of them available, $5 each. IDB 26. IDB 27. This was $42. I'll give you a good discount at 32 if you want it. This is a artisan lamp work. JanaeaBeads.com. Janaea Beads. This is the Ocean Urchin. Was $42. Now 32. Beautiful bead. That's the old price. We're giving you a discount even on that. Beautiful artisan bead. Lampwork glass. The Ocean Urchin. And one of those available, it is approximately 28 millimeters. IDB 27. IDB 28. 1 strand of these available. Vintage check glass. And these beautiful squares. I think they're squares, very close to squares if they're not. 10, yep, 10 by 10 millimeters. Beautiful sunset-like colors. Multicolor check glass beads. $8 for the strand only. Like, look these look. I think those look really pretty together. Use that as a closure on a necklace. That button, that'd be really beautiful. These might be a little too bright. I don't know. I could play around with that pink. Doesn't seem like it's that much brighter than that, but for some reason with that white, it feels different to me. But one strand of those, IDB 28, they're really pretty. 10 by 10 millimeter squares. Oh, I ran out of paper. Let me cut a quick sheet of paper up here. I thought I had enough to get through today, but I wrote some notes down. And so I used up my extras. So are y'all having an okay day? I know some of you have some stuff coming up. We're going to send good energy to Suzanne tomorrow. 1:30 her time, 2:30 our time. Marianne's having a hard time. It was a hard day. Hear about what happened there. Boy, I really cut these wild doing it so fast. Okay. Let's see here. Where am I? IDB. IDB 29. Yeah. 7 of these available. These were 18. I'm taking them down to 12. 18 down to 12. These are Morganite. Morganite faceted rounds. Beautiful light pink in color. You don't see Morganite, I feel like, that often in these small faceted rounds. We don't anyway. 3 millimeter faceted rounds. Leslie says, I'm already starting my kits for Beadfest. Nice. When is Beadfest this year? IDB 29, $12 a strand, 7 strands available of Morganite. Morganite. And the last one, IDB 30. 2 strands available of these. These are a beautiful, large pinch bead, check glass, vintage check. Large kind of pinch bead. It's a 3-sided in clear glass. And these are approximately 9.5 millimeters by about 11.5 millimeters. August 5th through the 8th. You got a good head start. I was going to say, I thought it was, if I wasn't mistaken, it was sometime in, I thought it was August. So you've got a good head start. That's good. And 2 strands of those available, $3 a strand only. And that, my friends, is it for today. So thank you all for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed the selection today. If you are just catching this, well, it's pretty late now, but I hope you watch the replay and you can still claim things from the replay if you're watching this in the first about 24 to 48 hours of the show. And yeah, I know it's a different time, but thank you all for hanging out with me during this afternoon. And we will see you back here tomorrow around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time with some more chat and hangout and lovely things to show you. I like the colors that are happening right here. I just started looking at this. Somehow these are really pretty together. I like what's going on. But thank you so much. Have an amazing, amazing afternoon and the rest of your evening. And we're sending Suzanne good wishes for tomorrow. Leslie says, the time will fly by. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And Kimberly says, have fun in class. Thank you. I hope to. I hope to. Um, and we will see you. Kimberly says, excited to see your pendants. We're not going to see my pendants. Don't get too excited. I mean, get excited, but we're not going to see my pendants probably for probably at least a month or two, um, because of the firing schedules and all that. I won't have them done. I've only done about 4 or 5 pendants in one class. Um, so it's going to take me a while to get through them all. So I'm glad you're excited for them, but I don't want to get anyone, too excited too fast, because it's probably going to be about a month or two before we actually debut them. Um, we'll see. I wish I could do them faster, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe once I'm into the groove a little better, I'll make them a little bit faster than that. But thank you. I'm glad you're excited. Anyway, we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great one, everyone. Bye now.